Alright, Manosphere Defender here. And today we are going to defend Kevin Samuels from this clown here who is apparently under, he must be employed or like a spokesman or something for Teig Hanley. And Teig Hanley seems to be one of the big sponsors for like a lot of Manosphere, black content, Manosphere creators. And this is the same company that tried to discontinue and basically cancel mediocre tutorials and reviews because some woman or Karen spammed their emails and basically said that he was a misogynist and da 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 da. So they basically tried to withdraw their sponsorship from mediocre MTR, and they eventually gave the sponsorship back. But it just shows you just how weak they are, and it's just kind of strange to me that they really target the black manosphere for, you know, the people that they want as sponsorships. But in reality, it's like you don't even pay attention to the content, because if you knew the content MTR was putting out there, you wouldn't even have listened to that woman. You removed his sponsorship without even doing research. You just canceled him instantly because you got some emails, and then went back and said, "Oh, well, we reviewed your stuff, and then we're sorry. We're cool with what you're saying." So Teig Hanley, I don't know. I just got some. I don't really rock with them like that. There's just something about their company that's kind of strange. And I'm going to show you how this guy right here is just a clown, because I'm under the impression that, or I'm under the stance that, you know, if you ain't got nothing nice to say, don't say it at all. Didn't y'all mama teach y'all that? Didn't somebody in life ever teach y'all that? Haven't y'all heard that? If you ain't got nothing nice to say, don't say it at all when it pertains to somebody's death or just in general. But Kevin died, and this guy right here, he knew Kevin, I guess, or he met him a few times. And I'm going to just break down just how just all emotional this guy is, and all over the place, and he's acting like a woman, basically. He's acting like a female by the way that he's expressing his emotions towards Kevin Samuels. But in reality, it's like we just take what he's saying with a grain of salt. I'm just doing this because I feel that this guy needs to be addressed, and because it's unnecessary to do a video like this in the man's passing. You could have said, "Oh, you know, I didn't agree on a lot of things. Me and Kevin had our history, but RIP to that man." You don't get into details of why you guys fell out and your feelings towards him and all that, and why you think he's shiesty, or just, you know, just all of this stuff that's unnecessary in this man's passing. You could have kept that with you, and you could have took that to the grave just like Kevin took it to the grave. But no, you want to get on YouTube and try to throw dirt on this man's name after he's dead, after a situation that y'all had. I would never, especially if you didn't have a real problem with Kevin, I would never get on camera and express something that happened, a situation that happened between me and another guy, and express how we weren't cool anymore and explain how everything broke down. And, you know, I wouldn't even do all of that because it's unnecessary. I would keep that between me and him, and that's going to go to the grave. You know, you don't go out here and just expose all your problems with everybody or indifferences that you had with everybody just because they passed away. Some stuff you just keep to yourself. And so I'm finna break this guy. I don't know this guy's name. Apparently Kevin is finna give him a shout out in this video where Kevin was doing a Teig Hanley sponsorship years ago. And he actually shouted out this guy. And then now we're gonna see how this guy is basically gonna give his story of Kevin Samuels and all of this. And once again, you know how these people try to talk stuff and then try to draw it all together with, "Oh yeah, but he was a good guy, RIP." Like, nah, that's weak. But let's get it.
Disclaimer: if you've been on YouTube any length of time, you know Aaron Moreno, Alpha M, and his
I'm assuming this Aaron Moreno, the guy that's finna talk. I'm assuming. I don't know, but I'm assuming.
pushing of Teig Hanley.
Gentlemen, welcome back to the Teig Hanley Starting a Business, Building Brand Vlog. This one, big number 339. So, a week ago, I heard about the sudden passing of a big popular YouTuber, Kevin Samuels. And it kind of rocked my world. For those of you who don't know who he is, in the past few years, I guess it was back like a year and a half, 2 years ago, he basically started to blow up in the manosphere community. He's very popular with the Black or African American community. Very popular in a good way with the men, not super popular with the women, because the thing that really got him kind of like on the map was a video that he did where I believe he was talking to a specific woman and they were having a debate and he called her like average at best. And from that point, he really started to take off. Now, he had been doing YouTube for a long time. I think like 2015 was kind of like when he started. But on Friday, I got a call or a text from Kelly said, "Hey, Kevin Samuels died." I said, "What?" No. And then I looked and sure enough, he had passed away. And yesterday, I watched a video from, and for the record, I'm going to get to some of your business questions in a minute. This has been kind of like, I haven't known really like how to feel about this other than just feeling really sad. And it's not that I had a good relationship with Kevin.
Okay, so if you felt really sad, why do you feel you got to come on here and explain your poor relationship with him? Like, that's not what sad people do when they feel remorseful about somebody passing. They don't then make a video about how they had differences with the person. So this is weird.
I actually didn't care for him much.
You admitted you didn't care for him much, but you're sad about his passing. Well, if you didn't care for him and it still affected you in that way, why do you have to go on here and express how you feel? We don't care, bro. We don't care. We don't care about your differences with him because the man has passed away. So I don't understand what is your point in even expressing this.
And it was weird, though, because 3 weeks ago, he actually reached out on Instagram and I can tell you and read.
Yeah, it's weird that he reached out and paid homage and didn't care about the differences that you had because he's a real man. And that's weird to you that, he reached out and shouted me out and we talked and it was a good conversation. Yeah, because he's a real man and he's not going to let none of that bull crap that happened in the past mess up his future relationships. So he shouted you out. What's weird about that?
Exactly what he said.
He took off, mainstream, he became something successful, and then he reached back and gave you a shout out. Come on, man. Even when y'all didn't even have a good relationship.
He said, where is it? There it is. He said, "Thanks much for sharing your story about your struggle. I recommend therapy on a near daily basis on my content. I live in Atlanta these days. If you're available to collaborate."
He extended the helping hand to this man.
And I said, "Hey, man, what's going on?" So we actually had a phone call. I said, "Hey, let's connect because okay, how do I even talk about this? Because here's the weird place where I'm at, right? I don't want to talk about..."
Mind you, nobody asked him nothing about this. He just felt like he had to go out his way to do all of this about a man who died. Like, this makes no sense for this whole video. It really doesn't.
About somebody in a negative way that isn't around anymore to defend themselves, right? But
right, you know that, but yet you're going to continue to do it. Don't you hate when people say something and then follow it with a but? That means you're going to contradict everything you just said previously to the but. Oh, I don't want to get on here and disrespect a man who can't defend himself, but...
Kevin and I have a relationship. Not like... We go back basically to like 2015. And it started because he bought my image consulting training course. I gave him a discount, 50% off. I actually emailed my assistant, Debbie, this morning, said, hey... She actually emailed me and said, "Hey, did you hear that Kevin died?" I said, "Yeah." And I go, "What was the deal? Why did we sort of fall out?"
He didn't even remember why him and Kevin fell out. So you're harboring feelings towards a man that you don't even remember why y'all even got into it. Do you know how stupid this sounds? You have negative feelings towards somebody you don't even know why. You had to ask your secretary, well, why did we get into it again? This is how his recollection is. This is why you have to take this as a grain of salt, and you really can't even listen to anything he's saying because he doesn't even remember his damn self.
Because honestly, 2015 is a long time ago, and I dealt with a lot of like weird people over the years, and so
right. So evidently, what he did was not that serious because you forgot about it. Anybody who does something serious to me, I'll never forget about it. I'm pretty sure most people are the same way. If somebody did something really bad to you, you don't forget what they did.
She refreshed my memory. Basically, he ordered my image consulting training course. It was online. I gave him a discount, and then he basically downloaded everything, said that it sucked, and disputed it with PayPal and got his money back.
That's his right. If he felt that the content that he paid for was trash and he wanted his money back, he had the right to do so. But obviously, that made you feel some type of way. Now you in your feelings.
He also did... turns out like he plagiarized some of it and used some of it.
And that's okay. He probably felt that some of the things that you were saying and they were valid, but the majority of the things you probably were saying was trash. And there's nothing wrong with that. He took the good and left the bad. What they say, eat the meat and leave the bone. Yeah, he took the good and left the bad. And the majority of it was probably bad content to him, so he said he wanted his money back because he felt it was trash.
He wanted to be an image consultant. He also contacted Debbie trying to get, he was very aggressive with my assistant Debbie. Not like sexually or anything like that, but he was very, 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 very forward. He came to the Menfluential Conference.
And then now you're painting this picture that he was just very aggressive towards my assistant. But let it have been a white businessman being aggressive, because what you're describing is business. Like, he's very aggressive when it comes to business. He's very direct. He's very on point. So basically, if that would have been Bill Gates, or if that would have been any successful white businessman who would have been just as aggressive, you would have been looking at that as an admirable trait. But since Kevin Samuels was aggressive and on point with his directness and about business, now it's just like you're trying to paint it to be a bad thing.
And I got to meet him. He met a bunch of people, which he also met Jeff, the Style OG, apparently at this point as well. Now, yes.
Shout out to Style OG.
And the reason why I really am kind of thinking about this even more is that yesterday I watched Jeff, the Style OG's video about Kevin Samuels, my friend. And it was an amazing video and tribute to Kevin.
It was decent. It's not what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? He gave his story on Kevin, but it was in a positive light. It wasn't to paint pictures of Kevin to be anything negative. What you're trying to do is, I wouldn't say you're trying to paint the picture that is negative, but you're definitely not painting a positive picture with your negative experiences.
And so I'm going to link to it down below, and it really shows and highlights the positive impact that Kevin had on somebody. He impacted a lot of people in a positive way. It just so happened that me and my relationship and the way that he and I kind of got to know each other was not super positive to the.
Okay, so if it wasn't, why do you feel you have to make a video about this? Nobody cares, bro. Nobody wants to hear that. You're just making content for negative people. Who does that? If you didn't have a positive relationship with him and you had a problem with him, okay, he's dead now. He took it to the grave. Why can't you take it to the grave? Why do you feel you got to go on here and expose y'all personal information to the world? Like, this is weird.
To the point of me not really caring for him or the type of person that at least I experienced. And so one year he came to the Menfluential Conference. I believe it was in like 2000 and like, I don't remember the year because I think it was like 17 or 18, somewhere in that neighborhood. See, I'm trying to be respectful, honestly.
How do you try to be respectful, bro? You don't have to do this. Like, you act like somebody's putting a gun to your head and forcing you to give your recollection of you and his situation. This is just so weird to me.
Anyway, he was making YouTube videos. He started making YouTube videos in like 2015. And one year, I can't remember the year, but it's all so fuzzy. So
yeah, it's all so fuzzy. It's also, you can't remember much of anything, but yet you have so much negativity. And your experience with Kevin was just so bad that you just can't remember anything about the situation. This is crazy. It's funny as hell.
Drama with Kevin to the point of me not allowing him to actually come to a future Menfluential Conference. And then he went around me and tried to talk to Terry and all these different people and Antonio. And he was really pretty shady and doing some.
No, you consider it shady. But if a white man had did the same business tactics, did the same thing, it would have just been, oh, he was a really aggressive, he was a really aggressive businessman. He was just really passionate about his da-da-da-da. That's what you would have been if he was a white man. But since he was doing it, it's shady. He was calling people and da-da-da-da. Yeah, he went around you because you're a hater. So when niggas hate on niggas, I'm going to go around you and figure out how I'm not going to associate with you. He went around you. He didn't want to talk to you because he knew you was a hater.
Weird things. So fast forward, and Teig Hanley, we were going to do this video. All of a sudden, Rob and Kelly were like, hey, there's this guy, Kevin, and we're going to do a video, an ad, and test it out, some top funnel video. And he's a customer, great guy, and all this good stuff. And so we want to do something with him shopping in a drugstore, and we want Christian to film it. And so we did. So once again, I wasn't connecting the pieces yet. Okay, so there was enough time in between when I had this issue with him back a long time ago, and then when Teig Hanley was contacted by him, and it turned out I think Kevin actually did a video on his YouTube channel talking about Teig Hanley. I don't believe at the time it was sponsored. Was it sponsored? Hang on, let me tell you if it was sponsored. Did he have an affiliate link? He had an affiliate link, so he must have reached out and gotten an affiliate link. This was back in 2017. Long story short, Kelly and Rob, I was not involved in this process at the time, said, hey, we'd like to actually film a video using this guy who's a customer, has a YouTube channel, and we think it'd be really good just to kind of, get some top funnel content out there. And so they ended up setting up this shoot, this video that we were going to film with Kevin in Atlanta. Christian was going to film it, and they basically found this drugstore up in Ackworth and said, hey, this guy's really a big fan of yours. Would you go up and meet him? I'm like, yeah, sure. I'll go and say hi. Once again, I'm still not connecting the dots. And so I go and I meet him, and he was super charming and a great guy and really nice, and saying how, I inspired him and that he bought my course. And then once again, I'm not connected.
Yeah, you met him and he was respectful, and he gave you credit for your course that he bought. He did what a real man does.
In the dots. And so we ended up renting him an Airbnb in Atlanta that we were going to film a portion of this ad. And he was going to stay there while he was in town, because at the time he wasn't living in Atlanta. And so they filmed everything. Well, that night, apparently Robert Kelly was looking at his Instagram, and he filmed something where he was really kind of inappropriate with a woman.
That's your opinion. But of course, this is a white man, which is probably a simp. He really looks like a simp. So I can imagine he has simp talking points, feminist ideology. So you seen the video of Kevin more than likely being very direct and very honest with a woman, and being what Kevin is a realist to these women. And of course, when simps and feminists hear this, they want to direct it as some type of, as Kevin being malicious in some way. So basically, you seen the video of Kevin being real and being who Kevin was, and you're going to do the same thing that you did that Teig Hanley did to MTR, and you're basically going to renege on the whole commercial and everything because, we didn't do our research and we found that you said something that was just misogynist and all of this garbage narrative that he's going to try to create.
And he was talking to her, and I don't know that you saw her. I don't remember the whole dynamic.
You don't even remember if it was disrespectful or not. Of course you don't. You don't remember anything. You're just talking.
Of the situation, but he sent it to us and was like, "Yo, what do we do?" Because it was to the point of this is not okay. And so we ended up deciding not to use the commercial. But during the time, we sent Debbie sort of an invoice to pay. She's like, wait, Kevin Samuels? Wait a second, this is the guy. And then she found all these emails. And so then we connected.
Found more emails of people hating, calling in probably this guy's a misogynist. Same thing they did to MTR.
The pieces that this is the same dude that we had issues with Alpha M and D. And so we decided to we paid him, but we did not go through with the commercial in terms of using it as an ad, because we were concerned that if he was this inappropriate with this person, how would that look if she came back? Because we were basically funding his trip and we were paying for his Airbnb. What would happen?
But that's just your opinion that he was being inappropriate. Kevin has never been inappropriate or said anything outrageous that's disrespectful to a woman. That's just y'all perception because it's the truth of what everything that he said was the truth. So you want to spin it to make it seem like he's a bad guy.
And if she would say, he sexually harassed her or whatever, it was because of T. So we were scared. And so we didn't end up using the ad that we filmed that we paid for. And that was kind of the end of the relationship with Kevin. Fast forward to basically a year and a half ago, he, exploded on his YouTube channel. I mean, crazy growth. And we're like, wait a second, isn't this the guy? And everyone was like, oh, wow, that's incredible. Yeah, he's blowing up. He's just, in the manosphere, he's talking about, men and women and saying that if you're a successful man, you will cheat on a woman. he was saying some pretty racy things.
He was saying things that went against your simp ideology. We understand that, but that doesn't mean he was wrong or anything. Y'all had every right to renege if y'all felt that the way y'all felt, but don't try to paint this picture like the things that he was saying were just bad. They just went against your ideology as a simp.
And he basically was ultimately polarizing. You know, a lot of women did not care for him. A lot of men really cared for him in this space and community. It was so crazy that about probably 6 months ago, I was in the mall. I was at Perimeter Mall. I will never forget this. And I wasn't like paying attention to Kevin or anything, but I saw this dude, right? This big, you know, dude that just looked really put together. He was wearing a sweatshirt with an image of Kevin, and it said, "I love Kevin Samuels." And that's when I was like, whoa, this guy is like totally like reached another next level. And so anyway, fast forward, I do an interview with Hafiz from the Roommates. And Hafiz made a comment to me. He's like, "Hey, Kevin told me if when you see him or when I see you, to say that he would like to connect and get together and film some stuff together." And I'm like, thanks, I'm going to pass.
Hater.
But for whatever reason, when I got that message from him the other day, I thought, all right, maybe this dude is, you know, maybe it's worth me just, you know, connecting with him.
It's just crazy. Kevin took off and still came back to reach back to you and give you some help. Told you to get counseling. He was going to actually help you. And then this is crazy. And,
you know, just letting all this stuff go. And so we had a conversation. We talked for about 45 minutes. I was on my walk. And he sounded great. He sounded like he was really doing some good stuff, and it sounded like he was, you know, what he was saying is, I'm about helping couples have better relationships. I'm about helping. And that was his goal. That was his thing. And I congratulated him. I said, man, I just want to say congratulations on everything that's happened. You know, I'm so excited for you. You know, well done. Like, you have like exploded. Congratulations. This is great. And I believed it. And I believe that it is amazing that somebody would have that level of success. And then to hear that he passed away just like that, right? From whether or not it's a heart attack or something else, I don't know yet. I don't know if it'll ever come out. But it rocked me. It rocked me deeply because here's somebody that, you know, is on top of the world, literally on top of the world in that community and for what he was talking about. Finally, after like 55 years of struggling, to see somebody that has struggled and then finally, they figure it out. They do whatever they need to do and they skyrocket. Crazy, unbelievable success. Millions of dollars, just crushing it to just be done like that.
Yeah, and that's the sad tragedy of it all. But that's life. But he left a legacy that will never go away. He left information that will never go away. But you're right. That's the unfortunate truth. And God, you know, he takes people away from us when they've completed his mission. Not, you know, we thought that he had more for his mission, but in reality, he created and he completed God's mission. We think he had more to accomplish, but in reality, God think that he had accomplished everything he needed him to do right here on this planet. It hit me, and I was sad. And the reason I think that I was sad, because not only does it suck that he was, you know, kind of done just like that, it was sad because I knew that 50% of the people were going to be really sad and upset about his passing. And I knew that the other 50%, the people that were not fans of him, were probably happy about it. But yeah, I'm pretty much done with this video. I don't got too much to say about dude. I don't got a problem with him or anything. He's a simp, and I just don't respect the fact that he took the time to just give us negative feedback. It was unnecessary. We never asked for your story about him. We never wanted you to get this off your chest. Like, you could have died with this just like Kevin did. So I didn't respect that, and then trying to pay homage at the end, and oh yeah, I really cared, and like, you didn't care, man. Because if you cared, you would have just came on here and just been respectable and didn't have to say nothing that tarnishes a man's legacy in any way. It just was unnecessary. But yeah, Manosphere Defender up out of here.